Okay, we are back with another design video today and round 2 of me going into my house, picking a random object and completely rebranding it. Let's go. Okay, we are in the house and I am joined by a very special guest. I'm gonna pop this camera down and I am gonna go and run around for 1 minute, find what objects I can find, and then I'm gonna pick one object. Okay, back, and I've got 3 different objects. We've got some Canadian maple syrup, got to be glued hairspray by I can never pronounce this, Squarscop? I have no idea, that one, maybe not. And we've got some extra chewing gum. All right, I'm picking this one. Maybe I'll do like a maple syrup or something on another video, but chewing gum might be quite cool. Okay, let's go. Okay, so we have got our Wrigley Extra chewing gum and I'm so excited to rebrand this. This is just such a random object that I don't even think I would be able to think of to rebrand. Wrigley's is so small. Why is it so small? I think I'm just gonna scrap the Wrigley's name and actually just call this Extra, leave it nice and short, because I feel like Wrigley's just ruins it. So really sorry, Wrigley, but you're gone, you're cut. Okay, so the first step of our process of rebranding Extra is going to be researching chewing gum competitors, finding out what target audience I want to rebrand this to, and then we're going to start making our Pinterest board and mood board and really figure out the creative direction for this brand. Okay, so I've been doing some research into Wrigley's Extra competitors, and I've learned that Wrigley's owns a lot of different chewing gums. We've got Wrigley's Double Mint, Wrigley's Airwaves. There's so many different ones that I didn't even realize that came under the same realm. But I did find Trident. I remember Trident gum. I swear this was the one that you would chew and there would just be like this burst of flavor.
Trident soft gum. Could this be a delicious option? Right, man, it's good. Got flavor.
But I've just noticed that a lot of the brands are very similar. They all kind of look the same. So I am wanting to completely go away from the norm and make a really cool chewing gum brand. Okay, so before we start the mood board, I'm just going to say that my target audience is between around 16 to 26 year olds. So we're going for the younger generation. So for this mood board that I've put together, I've created lots of fun images and sort of figured out a creative direction for this brand. So this includes the photography direction. We've got the inclusion of people chewing gum, blowing bubbles, etc., which makes it look really fun. The packaging to show the fun and bright side that we're going to take this brand in. We've then got some textures like the mint leaves and the gum, and then we've got the typography direction, which I feel like I'm going to go down the sort of bold display route, and I'll explain why next. And then we've got the color palette, which sort of just comes together through all of the images. So I have now made a mood board in Adobe Illustrator. If you want to learn more about mood boards, I have done a whole process on this, so make sure you go and check out the previous video on mood boards. So the reason that I've done this is to really sort of tighten down on the creative direction and give myself a better idea exactly where I'm going to take this brand. So the next step now is finding the perfect typography for this brand, and I know that I have such a good collection of fonts in my font library, but I do get a lot of questions asking where I get my fonts from. So there are 4 places that I mainly use. The first one being Envato Elements, which is my absolute favorite place to go. I literally talk about them all the time, and there is a link in my description if you want to check them out. Next is Google Fonts, which is really good. They have some really good free fonts on there. I use Creative Market. If there's a specific font that I want that isn't on Envato, I will head over to Creative Market. And the last one is Adobe Fonts too. Okay, so we have our 6 fonts that I've chosen now, and I'm going to go through them and whittle it down to just one, hopefully anyway. So the first one that I've got is Naruto Sans Regular, and I love the R on this. This one could go really nicely into the A, and I love how thick this font is. I think it's going to work really nicely, so we're going to keep this one in. Next is the Tide, which is just beautiful. It's really thick and I kind of thought it looked like teeth, so putting it above each other, I don't know, it just reminds me of teeth, if that makes sense. So I kind of like it, so I'm going to just keep that one in. I do love like the thicknesses of different letters. It's kind of bubbly and reminds me of the John Mayer in my mood board. Next is this beautiful font. I love these sort of stringy bits in it. It does remind me of like when you're pulling chewing gum out. So I like the different thicknesses in there. So this might work really nicely with the top one. So I'm going to keep this one in maybe. The E as well actually reminds me of teeth, or it kind of looks like a woman's body. I don't know. I'm getting like, maybe if I turn it around the other way, it kind of looks like teeth. I don't know. Does anyone else see this, or is this just me? I don't know. Well, I'm going to leave it in because I really like it. So the next one that I have got is Glendale Bold. This one, I don't know why I chose it. I kind of like how sort of wide it is. Like I said, your teeth can be pretty wide. I don't know. I'm kind of not vibing with it now compared to the others, so I'm going to get rid of it. It's gone. Next is another bold font, which is, what one is this called? It is Blackmud. So this one is Blackmud, I don't know. It looks quite nice, but comparing it to the other thick font, I feel like the other one works well, so we're just gonna get rid of it. Last one is the Malbec, and I was really attracted to the R, the sort of loop. That's definitely a thing that I think I'm going to use for the next part when doing the logo. It's kind of a bit thin for what I'm wanting, so it's gone. It's gone. Right, so we have 3 now. I don't know. Looking at the middle one is kind of too much. And I feel like the bottom and the top one would work really nicely together. So I'm just going to get rid of it. I think that, I don't know if that was bad, but I don't know. Maybe we'll just, I feel like combining these might work really nicely. These sort of stringy bits and then having like a really bold part of the font might work well. And sort of having them above one another works really nicely. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, we'll do both of them. Why not? I haven't done that before, I don't think. So we'll just do that. Okay, so let's get straight into it with the logo design process. So the first thing is manipulating the typography. Like I mentioned, I want to combine these 2 fonts and sort of use letters in different ways. So we'll mix sort of the R and the A, and then I'm going to use some stringy bits as well to remind you of like when you pull chewing gum out, it just creates that really nice stringy bit. So hopefully this will work. So the first thing I'm going to do is outline all of the text, and then I'm going to sort of arrange which letters that I want to use. So I'm going to take the E, I'm going to take away the T and the R and add that to make it sort of the bold version, and then I think I'm going to leave the X and the A as the other font because the A has a really nice arch and the R can go into the A really, really nicely. So I'm just gonna carry on and do this. I'm just gonna move the T up because it is a little too wide, and I kind of like the negative space. It reminds me of like bucked tooth. You've got like a gap, so that works really nicely. Next, I'm gonna sort of go into manipulating the A. So I'm just using the pencil tool and I'm sort of drawing where I want the line to be, and really sort of making it look like the R is going into the A, making it like a stringy bit. If that, I keep saying stringy bit, it sounds really bad, but yeah, the stringy bit is the chewing gum. So I'm just using the pencil tool and then I'm just gonna sort of smooth it out with the smooth tool, make sure it looks sort of all right and it flows nicely into one another. That actually worked really well, and the R and the A, I love the arch on the A and then it sort of goes back on itself. That looks really, really nice. So it was a good idea and it worked really well. Next, I'm going to move on to the E. So for this, I had an idea of actually sort of manipulating it again with the pencil tool to look like a sort of wave, you know, like when you put toothpaste on, even though this isn't a toothpaste brand, but you do get that recognition with when using mint and obviously sort of teeth and when you're brushing your teeth. So the top of the E, I'm going to make it to look like sort of toothpaste when you put it on your toothbrush. So I'm just going to sort of take the pencil tool, the smooth tool, and use the direct select tool to get it to exactly how I want it. It is a little bit fiddly and it doesn't always go right first time, but we're going to do that. So the E is now done, and do you know what? With the sort of wave of the R and the A, it actually fits really, really nicely. So I'm glad that I've done that. So it is looking a little plain on its own. So I thought of the idea of sort of using gum as well, so it can be extra gum. because extra on its own, you kind of don't really know what it is. So I'm just going to add gum in and change this to extra gum. So once again, I'm actually going to manipulate the typography. I'm going to use either the G or the U that is different to the current typography. Actually, I'm going to use the U because it looks like a tongue. I don't know if anyone else sees this, but it actually works really, really nicely. The negative space looks like someone doing that, which I didn't even intend to do, but it looks really nice. So I kind of just need to make this a little bit smaller now. So I'm just using the direct select tool to sort of move the letters in, and then I'm just going to smooth out the area and sort of make sure that it looks okay and as if it was like that originally. So that is now placed there, and I'm going to get some rulers, make sure all of the bottom parts of the typography are sat on the baseline and all lining up with one another, which it currently isn't. The U was slightly going over. It's just good to make sure that everything is in line. So I'm just doing that, and everything looks pretty much, I'm just going to change the R because that is up slightly. It's little tweaks like these can actually make a lot of difference, so make sure you are checking with your rulers. Okay, it is looking pretty good. I'm excited to sort of see the direction of the brand now that we've got the main logo done. Next, we're going to dive into creating the logo mark, and I really want to use the E. This is going to work really nicely. Obviously, it's called extra, and I really want to get a sort of circle involved in this just to show like when you're blowing a bubble. I wonder if I can blow a bubble. Let's see if I can do this. I haven't had chewing gum in ages. I used to be really good at blowing bubbles, so really minty. Jesus. Whew. Spearmint, the big moment we've been waiting for. No, that was awful. I'm gonna get a big one, hold on. That was pretty good. Right, last one. No, not very good at that. Getting into the work, this is really helping me understand chewing gum more. Right, let's get straight into, I'm gonna have to take this out because otherwise I'm gonna be speaking in chewing gum, which you guys don't wanna see. Done, it is gone. Right, so we're gonna get straight into the logo mark, and I wanna use the sort of bubble. I just wanna get like a circle around it to sort of remind you of sort of blowing a bubble. Okay, so I'm just going to take, I love using the pencil tool. You will see this a lot, but I'm just taking the pencil tool and I'm really sort of going around and creating my own sort of curl to it, if that makes sense. And it fits in really nicely with the original E. You've got to trust the process when you're drawing things like this because it might look awful to begin with, but there are tools that can make it really, really nice, like the smooth tool. The smooth tool is just probably my favorite tool because it makes you look like you've created something perfect when you will see this process that it's not great. So I'm just using the pencil tool still to get the shape that I want. And then I'm going to go into the smooth tool and we're just going to smooth the lines out. It makes it look like it was perfect and you created the perfect line. And I'm just going to get that to exactly how I want it, but it's created a really nice shape. Okay, she is looking pretty, and that wasn't what I kind of had in mind, but I really like it, and that E can be memorable and it looks distinct, and I like how it's kind of like being blown, like the bubbles being blown out of your mouth, and it kind of reminds you of that stringy bit that I was getting in the main logo, so it all ties in really nicely with each other. I'm actually enjoying this process so much. I think it's because it's just a random brand that I would never think of, so sort of pushing yourself to do brands that you wouldn't normally do, it really excites me and I get such like a thrill out of it. Is that sad? Anyway, next stage is we're gonna find some beautiful colors. So normally when working with clients, I would do the mood board stage and provide them with sort of some colors that we may use within their brand. But for some reason, when I come up with my own brands, I kind of like to do that after the logo stage. So it will still come back to sort of the colors within the mood board. So I'm definitely gonna go for the greens, maybe like the black or like a darker green, and just keep it to the minty color. I did have a look at some packaging of some other brands and a lot of them do use sort of the green. Obviously on the packaging here we have got the green and sort of the blue. Don't know whether I'm going to use blue or not. I kind of like keeping it to the green, but at the moment this to me is too green. Like we want to go down the sort of minty lime. Is it lime? I don't know. A minty sort of color, and really just make it sort of towards my target audience, add in like a really nice bright color, and just make it look better than what this is. Okay, let's go and add some beautiful colors into this beautiful brand. So I am picking some colors from my mood board. We're gonna go for a sort of darker green, a really pop of color green, and then we're going to go for a sort of paler green just to give it some contrast while sticking to the green. These colors are gorgeous, so hopefully they work really nicely to each other. Do you know what? This is what I wanted to achieve. In my head, I had no idea of the colors, but this is the one that I want to go for. So I'm just gonna sort of put all the logos and the logo marks into these colors, make sure it works well, and then I can crack on with the rest of the brand. Can you tell? My mood just like instantly lifts, even though I was in a good mood anyway. But as soon as I add color in, I'm like, ooh, girl, she's just beautiful. Color is life. Like I am addicted to finding the perfect color palettes that just complement each other really, really well. And already this is looking like a hot chewing gum brand. And I'm here for it. So let's just take it back. I have now gone and chosen some photography elements. I feel like it was missing that photography bit that I just wanted in there. So I've gone to Pexels and found some really nice images. I've got some black and white images, which I think contrast really, really nicely. It makes the chewing gum and the teeth look really, really white, which is what we want to achieve. We want to make sure that we are sort of drawing your eyes to the parts that we want. So the chewing gum, the teeth, and it sort of contrasts between the green colors as well. So maybe this can be this brand's thing, that all of their images sort of on their Instagram feed, on their adverts or whatever, are in black and white. And then the rest of the colors come from the branding. Just an idea, but I feel like that would work really nicely. So I'm going to use this sort of photography throughout this brand. Talking about photography, I'm actually going to interrupt my own video by saying that this video is kindly sponsored by Skillshare. So they are an online community for creators just like us. So I have actually been on a mission recently to have a brand photo shoot, and this is something that I have never done before. And I had a look on Skillshare and actually found some really useful classes to do with sort of brand photography, brand photo shoots. So on Skillshare, there are tons of classes that you can pick from photography, design, business tips, whatever you're looking for as a creator, they will have a class on it. So I recently took the portrait photography class by Jessica Kabisi, and it taught me the sort of fundamental things to photography. So she is a photographer, and it sort of made me understand sort of what shots I would need when doing my brand photo shoot, and it just really gave me an idea into the background of it. And the good thing about these classes is that there are no interrupted ads when you're watching it, and lots of new classes that they bring out. So if you are wanting to take some classes, then I have actually teamed up with Skillshare to give the first 1,000 of my subscribers 1 month, which is 30 days free for taking any class that you want. So make sure you click the link in the description of this video so you can get your 30-day free trial and let me know what classes you take. Okay, so now we are going to move on to a really fun part. I've just got an image from Google, which is of the Wrigley's Extra, just the packaging. So instead of the tub, you can obviously get the packets as well. And I thought of a really good idea. So normally I would create mock-ups for this, but I thought I would make my own cartoon ones. I haven't done illustrations in ages, like in a while. So this one is really going to test my creativity and really just see if I'm able to draw a chewing gum packet and make it look really fun and funky. And I feel like that would suit the target audience, it being a little more cartoony, down to earth, and I'm excited to just try it out. So we have got a look at the packaging, and I'm just gonna kind of make my own, turn it into 3D thing. So I'm just getting the rectangle box and making the corners sort of curved by just using the direct selection tool and taking the anchor points inside and moving them in. I'm now just gonna grab the pen tool and just start drawing some lines to really make it into 3D. So we're just drawing the lines for that one, making sure that everything sort of looks right, and I'm gonna just get the other sections of where the packet lies over, if that makes sense, where it's folded over. to really make it as realistic as I can. So I'm going to add the logo into it now to make sure that this is actually going to work and look good. I really like the black outline as well. That makes it look really nice and just really stands out instead of using no outline. So I've had an idea as well. I thought for the packaging to sort of suit the target audience more, so kids sort of my age, I'm 23 by the way, to add really nice sayings. I've done this in a few videos before, but I really like to add sort of the copyright and the wording to fit in with the brand so everything stays consistent. So I thought it'd be nice to sort of add in the flavors of the chewing gum. So there's going to be a few flavors within this brand, and the first one is mint. So I'm going to write "You're mint" on it because you are mint. If you're watching this, you are mint. So we're adding that in, and I think it's just a really nice gesture and it's something memorable. So if you were to get the packet, or if someone gave the packet to you, it's like they're saying you're mint. So that works really nicely. So I've just written that out, added it in. So I'm now actually going to go and use the free transform tool. So if you haven't used this tool, this is an elite tool and it allows you to basically manipulate the text as if it was on something 3D. So I am going to be using the bottom tool for this, which allows me to take the anchor points and just kind of move it to exactly where I need it to be. So this is looking down onto the 3D mock-up, and the logo is on the side of the package. And as you can see, it looks really, really nice and just adds some more detail into the packaging. So I'm just taking the rectangle tool and I'm going to use the curvature tool to make the sort of arch that I want. And I'm going to fill it with a color just to give it that little extra. See what I did there? I didn't even intend to do that. Just that sort of little bit extra on the top to really sort of steer your eyes that way, which works really nicely. So next I'm actually gonna tidy stuff up, and then I'm gonna create 2 more of these, but obviously use different colors and different flavors too. I get so excited when it looks good. I did not have it looking this good in my head. Let's just take a second, little round of applause. It looks really, really nice. So we've done the 2 extra flavors, which are orange, and it is orange with no bits. So like you get your orange juice, you can have it with bits. Without, I don't know, I thought it worked well, so we're gonna go with that one. And then the grape flavor is I think you're pretty grape, which I do. I think you're grape. So that works really nicely, and I'm just going to create it into a pattern now. I think this would look just really nicely as a pattern. I don't know why, but we're going to do it so we can sort of see the brand as a whole. So I'm just going into creating the pattern using the brick by column and seeing what this looks like. I'm just going to tilt it because I feel like they would look really nice sort of on a tilt, and when you normally see mock-ups, they are on a slant. Some of them are anyway. And this just looks really good. It works really nicely and it's really making the brand come together. I'm going to start using maybe the purple and the orange within the brand as well. Obviously keep the 3 primary colors, the greens, but then we can bring in the extra flavor of orange and sort of the grape. So I'm just going to add it into the brand now, and then I'm just going to move some of the artboards around to really get a feel for this brand. Okay, adding in the color and doing those cute little cartoon mock-ups has really given me some like inspiration to go and do some mock-ups for these as well. So we're going to do it in exactly the same style. I just feel really creative, and when I do illustrations, it really makes me feel like I'm good at design because it's sort of more intricate, and I don't know, I just really love doing that stuff. I need to do more of it. So when the creativity is flowing, guys, don't freaking stop it. So we're gonna go all out with this one and create some more mock-ups for this. Okay, I'm just at the end of it now and I'm going to explain what I've done. So I basically used the exact same tools as I used on the previous one to create the mock-ups, and I've created 3 different quirky looking bottles. So the first one, which is the You're Pretty Mint one, is this sort of bottle. I kind of wanted it to look a little cartoony, a little different to your average sort of bottle. I don't even know what you call this. It's not a bottle, it's a tub. Let's call it a tub. So we've got 3 different tubs. Next is the orange one, and I don't know, I kind of liked that it was in like an orange shape with the curves to it. So I didn't even know if you'd be able to do this in packaging, but it's just a fun little mock-up, so I'm gonna just run with it. And then the next one, the last one, which is the grape one, is in, kind of looks like a perfume bottle, a tub, I don't know, but it's kind of cool. It's in that sort of grape shape at the top, which I really liked, and it looks pretty funky and it suits this brand so much, and it's going to work really well with this packaging as well. So I'm going to create some patterns using this as well, and pretty much there. I probably will do some more actual mock-ups that I'm probably going to get from Envato Elements, just to see what the actual mock-ups would look like, because obviously these don't really have much text on it. It is just for a visual reference to fit the brand. I think I've done something here. This just looks so much better than what I thought. So I've done some sort of more mock-ups in the style that I was originally doing. So we've got the tub bottles, which are now in a pattern, and then I did some extra bits. I need to stop using extra. It's obviously, I don't know, it's doing something to my brain. But yeah, I've done some more, which will be sort of the cardboard boxes that you could get individual ones in, that could be sort of the speciality for extra gum. And it looks really cool in this style of mock-up. So I don't know, I love this brand. I also did a really cute quote which says, do something extraordinary today, and we've obviously got extra in there, which could be their tagline or something. I don't know what their tagline is already, if this is on here, but it sounds pretty cool and it makes you want to go and do something extraordinary. Just go out there, get the gum. You know how it is. So I am so excited to introduce this full brand that we have rebranded from a random object in my house. So everyone, meet Extra. Okay, so that is the video done of me rebranding Wrigley's Extra, which we turned into Extra Gum. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know your thoughts on the design process and the final branding. I have enjoyed this video so much. It always gives me that push to test my creativity out and sort of rebrand something that I probably wouldn't even think of. So go and find a random object. It is so much fun. If you have enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content just like this.